Hello learners, in this video we will do the last part of the lesson Bipin Choudhry's Lapse of Memory written by Satyajit Ray. Before I explain you part 4, let me summarize the story. Bipin Choudhry's Lapse of Memory is an amusing story about a man named Bipin Choudhry who had a habit of visiting bookstores and buying books of his interest. On one such visit, a man approached him and told him that he was his old acquaintance, Parimal Ghosh, from his Ranchi trip. At first, Bipin Chowdhury was convinced that the man was confusing or mistaken him with someone else. But when Parimal Ghosh mentioned other events that happened in Ranchi, Bipin did not pay attention to Parimal Ghosh explanation and went out of the shop. Parimal Ghosh said that Mr. Dinesh Mukherjee was also there on the same trip with him. He also told that he could confirm from Mr. Mukherjee directly. Then later he got confirmed from Mr. Mukherjee, who said that he had been to Ranchi. This confused Bipin Chowdhury even more. He did not had any memory of visiting Ranchi in the past. Meanwhile, Bipin Chowdhury's school friend Chunni Lal would often visit him looking out for job, which was fairly ignored by Bipin Chowdhury. Bipin Babu is very confused as he cannot remember that particular instant only. He starts worrying and feels he is losing his memory. Bipin Chowdhury asks the doctor for a remedy. This confuses the doctor as he had not seen such a case. The doctor advises Bipin to visit Ranchi so that he can recollect the memories. So now let us visit Ranchi along with Bipin Chowdhury and find out whether he recalls his memory or not. Let's start reading part 4. Getting off the train at Ranchi next morning, he realized at once that he had never been there before. He came out of the station, took a taxi, and drove around the town for a while. He realized that the streets, the buildings, the hotels, the bazaars, the Morabadi Hill, with none of these had he the slightest acquaintance. Acquaintance means familiar. Would a trip to the Choudhry Falls help? He didn't believe so, but at the same time he didn't wish to leave with the feeling that he hadn't tried enough. So he arranged for a car and left for Choudhry in the afternoon. So here Bipin Babu, he reached Ranchi upon doctor's advice, isn't it? At the railway station of Ranchi itself, he realized that he had never been there before. He came out of the railway station and went round the city and had the same feeling. He had never seen those buildings, hotels, markets, or the Morabadi Hills ever before. He decided to try a trip to the Choudhry Falls so as not to leave a feeling of having tried. So he went to Choudhry Falls in the afternoon. At 5 o'clock the same afternoon in Choudhry, two Gujarati gentlemen from a group of picnickers. Picnickers means people on picnic. Discovered Bipin Babu lying unconscious beside a boulder. Unconscious means unawake state. Boulder is a big stone. When he came round, the first thing Bipin Babu said was, "I'm finished. There's no hope left." So came round means regained consciousness. Next morning, Bipin Babu was back in Calcutta. He realized that there was truly no hope for him. Soon he would lose everything: his will to work, his confidence, his ability, his balance of mind. Was he going to end up in the asylum? Asylum means mental illness. Bipin Babu couldn't think any more. Back home, he rang up Dr. Chandra and asked him to come over. And then, after a shower, he got into bed with an ice bag clamped on his head. So, clamped means tied or fixed. Just then, the servant brought him a letter which someone had left in the letter box, a greenish envelope with his name in red ink on it. So, at 5 in the same afternoon, two Gujarati men found Bipin Babu lying unconscious beside a boulder. In Hudrum, when Bipin Babu regained consciousness, first the words which he uttered was, "I'm finished. There's no hope left." Bipin Babu, he felt there was no hope as he was unable to recollect the past memories. So he began to worry that he would soon lose everything: his will to work, his confidence, his ability, his balance of mind also. He wondered that he could end up in an asylum, that is the mental illness, if the situation goes all the more worse. Bipin Babu was tired, he was exhausted to think any more. So Bipin Babu, he rang up to the Dr. Chandra and requested him to visit his place. He took a shower and went to bed with an ice bag clamped on his head. Then his servant brought him a letter that he had found in the letter box. The envelope was green in color and his name was written on it in red ink. Above the name, it was said, "Urgent and confidential." Confidential means private. In spite of his condition, Bipin Babu had a feeling that he ought to go through the letter. He tore open the envelope and took out the letter. This is what he read. So here the envelope read urgent and confidential. Confidential information was there in that. So it read urgent and confidential. Confidential means private. Above his name. Then Bipin Babu felt that he should read the letter at once. So he tore the envelope and took out the letter and read the letter, which is written by Chunilal. Now let us read the letter. Dear Bipin, I had no idea that affluence would bring about the kind of change in you that it has done. Affluence means wealth. Was it so difficult for you to help out an old friend down on his luck? So down on his luck means experiencing bad luck. I have no money, so my resources are limited. Resources means means. What I have is imagination, a part of which I used in retribution of your unfeeling behavior. So in retribution refers to as a punishment for. Unfeeling is uncaring. Well, you will be all right again now. A novel I have written is being considered by a publisher. If he likes it enough, it will see me through the next few months. Yours, Chunilal. So this is the letter written by Chunilal to Bipin Choudhry. So here Bipin Choudhry, he reads the letter in which Chunilal, he expressed his bitterness for getting no help from Bipin Choudhry. He further adds that he has scarcity of resources and he had no money and all he had was imagination which he used to take revenge on Bipin Babu's behavior. So frankly, this Chunilal, he told Bipin Babu that it was his plan in retribution against his unfeeling behavior. Then he told Bipin Choudhry how he played a practical joke upon him with the help of Mr. Parimal Ghosh and Dinesh Mukherjee. He also tells him that a novel which he had written is being considered by a publisher. He will have enough money for the next few months if the publishers like his novel and approves of it. Right? When Dr. Chandra came, Bipin Babu said, "I'm fine. It all came back as soon as I got off the train at Ranchi." "A unique case," said Dr. Chandra. "I shall certainly write about it in a medical journal." So here journal refers to a magazine on a specific subject. "The reason why I sent for you." So sent for you means called you. So now here Bipin Babu is expressing the reason why he had called up Dr. Chandra. Said Bipin Babu, "is that I have a pain in the hip from a fall I had in Ranchi. If you could prescribe a painkiller." So here Dr. Chandra, he came to see Bipin Babu and Bipin Babu said that he was fine as he got his memory of the Ranchi trip. It all came back as he got off the train. Dr. Chandra remarks that it was a unique case and also tells him that he will write about it in a medical journal. Bipin Babu, he expresses his reason for calling Dr. Chandra. He requested Dr. Chandra to prescribe him a painkiller for the pain he had in his hip from the fall he had in Ranchi. Right? So this is written by Satyajit Ray. So now here we'll come to know the moral of this particular lesson. So what is the moral of the lesson? What did we understand from this lesson? Yes, the moral of the story is that as you sow, so shall you reap. So you might have heard this moral, isn't it, children? So in the lesson, Bipin Choudhry, he did not help his friend who was in dire need, who was in need of job. So here Bipin Choudhary, he did not help Chunilal. So his friend decided to teach him a lesson. So that is what the lesson is all about. So here from this particular lesson we can learn that we need to support our friends when they are in need, so that your friendship, it gets stronger, it builds up, and it becomes better. Is this clear, children? Right? Thank you.